Behind every bullet fired on the front line lies a story of courage that history almost forgot. When we think of World War II, we picture the dramatic charges, the roaring tanks cutting through thick clouds of dust, and the tense infantrymen inching across hostile rivers. But a tank without fuel is just a steel coffin, and a soldier without rations or ammunition cannot hold the line. The true lifeblood of the Allied victory was not just forged in combat, but on the relentless, grueling, and highly dangerous docks of the military supply chain. As landing crafts pushed into the Mediterranean harbors to support the Eighth Army, they brought with them the unsung heroes of the war. These were the black soldiers who stepped into the crucible of logistics, taking on a burden that would quietly determine the fate of the free world. Operating within a heavily segregated military, African American and Allied black personnel were frequently denied frontline combat roles. Instead, they were handed the most backbreaking, perilous jobs the war had to offer. Look closely at these men. They are moving mountains of supplies entirely by hand. From heavy wooden crates packed with essential rations, to massive, unwieldy coils of barbed wire that will soon protect forward trenches. Every single item needed to sustain the Allied push came through their blistered hands. As military transport trucks roll straight off the landing crafts, the men work with a synchronized, desperate rhythm. There is no time to rest, the front line is always hungry, always calling for more, and this labor was far from a safe assignment securely behind the lines. These supply docks were high-value targets. These men were working under the constant, looming threat of enemy air raids and artillery fire, completely exposed on the open waterfront. They were not holding rifles, they were holding the fragile lifeline of the entire military operation. Using heavy cranes and their own sheer muscle, they guided massive, multi-ton crates into the beds of waiting trucks. It was a deadly tightrope walk of logistics. A snapped cable, a shifting load, or a single moment of exhaustion could crush a man in an instant. Yet, they pressed on, their bodies glistening with sweat under the punishing sun, driven by a silent resolve to keep the war engine moving. As the camera pans across the vast, endless stockpiles, you begin to grasp the staggering scale of this operation. Thousands upon thousands of metal ammunition boxes and rows of jerrycans filled with high-octane fuel are waiting to be loaded. These soldiers were essentially working inside a giant tinderbox. A single spark, a stray tracer bullet, or one mishandled crate of high explosives could trigger a catastrophe that would vaporize the docks in seconds. Disregarding their own safety, they loaded these volatile materials truck after truck, hour after hour. Every single shell, every barrel of fuel, and every crate of high explosives passed through their blistered hands, knowing that a single mistake or an unexpected enemy strike could instantly incinerate everything around them. Yet, there was no hesitation in their movement, only an unwavering commitment to complete the mission at all costs. In the final moments of this remarkable archive footage, as you see shirtless, exhausted men hoisting massive timber beams onto their aching shoulders, you are witnessing the raw, unvarnished truth of World War II. These were not men resting in the shadows of the front line, they were the very engine driving the Allied advance forward. Beneath the scorching Mediterranean sun, with dust clinging to their sweat-drenched skin, they pushed their bodies far beyond the limits of human endurance. They literally carried the weight of the war on their backs. They fought a profoundly different kind of battle, not one fought with rifles from inside trenches, but a relentless war of endurance, sweat, heavy iron, and unyielding psychological strength. In a time when their own dignity and equality were often stripped away by systemic racism and segregation, these soldiers answered the call with unmatched bravery and dignity. They proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that true heroism is not just measured by who pulls the trigger on the battlefield,